Welcome everyone to your Capricorn Full Moon TarotScopes for the Capricorn Full Moon that we'll have on July 11th. I hope everybody's doing well and having a very nice day. Not sure when you might be seeing this. Maybe it's prior to your Capricorn Full Moon. So welcome to my channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you're returning. I'm Joshua the Psychic, and you can check out my website, psychicsun.com, if there's anything I can do for you. So let's talk about this Capricorn full moon that we have on July 11th. Full moon meaning, for those of you who don't know, full moon is that culmination, right? So you're going to be celebrating your harvest, any achievements that you've made over the past, 6 months, really, because what you're probably seeing this Capricorn full moon is the culmination of your efforts since the Capricorn new moon that we had in January or December. I forget when we had it, but in 2024 or very early 2025. So I believe it was actually December 2024 when we had that Capricorn new moon. So you want to aim for completion during the cycle and determine your next steps. Capricorn prefers a slow and steady approach, making sure that its bases are covered, and it's very pragmatic. So it's a good time to really think about what you need to adjust in order to get to where you need to go. Now, Saturn is very important because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So to get more insight into what this full moon will be about for you, we have to look at where Saturn is. Now, Saturn is in Aries. So Saturn in Aries is coloring this lunation, making it less austere, less fuddy-duddy, more excitable, and more passionate. And Saturn, not only is it in Aries, but it's also conjunct Neptune. So this is very, very good. You got that boldness, that fearlessness of Aries, and then you also have Neptune, which is highly imaginative and creative. Now, the trick is to realize that Neptune can be really creative and really imaginative and romantic and idealistic. So the goals that you have may be quite big. You might have really, really big dreams, and they might be highly idealistic. But with Saturn there, you're just going to have to put in the work. So bear in mind that the more idealistic your end goal is, the harder you're going to have to work. So it's okay to be idealistic. Just know that that's going to come with effort if you want to manifest your ideals. So structure your dreams, turning your vision into practical goals. That's going to be helpful. Hey, Haley, nice to see you. Hey, Kasmar, nice to see you. Good evening to you. So we also have some really cool aspects this full moon. Saturn is actually going to be making a beautiful sextile, a supportive sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. So this is going to be an opportunity for us to really be empowered in new ways, right? Because Pluto in Aquarius wants you to be empowered, but in ways that are novel, in ways that are outside of the box and innovative. And Aquarius is also about the group, the power of the collective. So you want to transform your long-term goals through collaboration and new power. How can you be empowered in a new way this full moon? And how can you work with other people to make your dreams manifest? How can other people be of benefit? Maybe it's a group you connect with, maybe it's your friends, but that Pluto energy, that Pluto and Aquarius energy is telling you what can you do that's new, that's going to be empowering, and how can you connect with like-minded people to achieve your goals. We also have Saturn making a nice sextile to Uranus, which is in Gemini. So breakthroughs await. You want to embrace change to innovate and evolve. And what's nice is Uranus is unpredictable, right? However, it's a harmonious energy, that sextile. And not only that, but you also have Venus in Gemini at 6 degrees. And it also is making a sextile to Saturn in Aries, as well as Neptune in Aries. But the orb is rather wide, right? Because that Saturn in Aries, I think, is at 1 degrees. And then you also have Venus that's at 6. So it's a bit of a wide orb, but still, we have that Venus there that's going to make things a lot more gentler for you if you are looking to make changes. And with that Uranian energy and that Plutonian energy, the chance for this lunation to bring you a lot of change is very, very strong, because both Pluto and Uranus are change agents. They change things. Typically, what winds up happening is Uranus will change things on the mental plane, and then Pluto will change things on the emotional plane. And because we have these harmonious sextiles between Saturn and these change agents, Pluto and Uranus, this is going to be an opportunity for you to make changes that actually are not too disruptive. If they're disruptive, it's going to be a very good thing. It will be gentler change for you. So if you're looking to make some more major changes this lunation, this is going to be a good time for you to do that. It's going to be a very good time for you to do that. So in looking at this full moon, I thought of two quotes or two sayings I remember hearing over the years. Many hands make little work, because you have that sextile with Pluto and Aquarius is all about the group. So maybe if you have goals, get other people involved, bring in some experts, bring in people to help. And also, because Saturn is in Aries and it's making this beautiful sextile to all those Gemini energies, Uranus and Gemini, as well as Venus and Gemini, we have a youthfulness to it, a youthfulness to this typically austere Saturn energy, because we have the Aries energy and the Gemini energy at play. Now, both Aries as well as Gemini, there's a youthfulness. Aries is called the child of the Zodiac, and Gemini rules the age of being a toddler, right? So there's a more playful energy. And really, you want to fall in love with your work. As they say, fall in love with your work and you'll never work a day in your life. So I thought of these two things in light of this lunation, but then I remembered Alan Watts. Now, Alan Watts is a Capricorn, and he was like a philosopher, and he actually said, don't make a distinction between work and play. Regard everything that you are doing as play, and don't imagine for 1 minute that you've got to be serious about it. This is one of his lectures. Alan Watts has all of his lectures online. They're all on YouTube. They're great. So I did a little bit of digging, and what's cool is that Alan Watts wasn't he wasn't foolish. Like, he wasn't pie in the sky, these ideas that are not real, because he was a Capricorn. And essentially, he goes on to say that any kind of work can be made into play. In his lecture, he speaks about this guy. He was in Manhattan, and he needed to get a shoe shine. I think he was in like 59th Street, and he goes to get the shoe shine, and he pays a guy for a shoe shine, and the shoe shining guy is like whistling and singing while he's shining his shoes. So you notice that his shoe shining guy, which is not a pleasant job, you can imagine, was actually having fun. So he was making his shoe shining job playful. And Alan Watts suggests that we make everything playful. So listen to this. He wrote, or he said in his lecture, imagine too if you were a bus driver. A bus driver is ordinarily considered an absolutely harassed person. He's got to watch out for all the laws, all the competing traffic, the cops, the people coming on board, giving their fares, and he has to give them change. And if he has it in his head that this is work, it will be hell. But let's suppose he has a different thing in his head. Supposing he has the idea that moving this enormous conveyance through complicated traffic is a very, very subtle game. And he has the same feeling about it that you might have if you were playing the guitar or dancing. And so he goes through that traffic, avoiding this and avoiding that, and taking a fare like this, and he makes a music of the whole thing. Well, he's not going to be tired out at the end of the day. He's going to be full of energy when he gets through his job. The point Alan Watts is making here is that even if you don't necessarily love your job, you can make it a game. You can make it playful. And then ideally, obviously, you're going to be doing for your profession whatever it is that you really, really love, which is actually really practical, because if you're passionate, you have more energy. And if you have more energy, you're going to have more success. But irrespective of what job you're in, Alan wants just you make it playful. And that is really a huge theme with this Capricorn full moon, because you have very playful energies. We're not just dealing with this Capricorn energy, which typically is not playful. Capricorn is pretty austere, by the book, buttoned up, prudent. In fact, Capricorn typically doesn't play enough. But because the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, is in Aries, and we also have this energy of Gemini at play, making beautiful sextile to that Saturn in Aries, there's a playful vibe, right? So this is probably going to be the most playful Capricorn full moon ever. So definitely enjoy your work and make it playful, because that is practical. You're going to enjoy it and you're not going to get burnt out. So the Capricorn full moon will be at 18 degrees. So you want to check in to see where 18 degrees falls in your chart. That is where you're going to be letting go. That's where you're going to be having a harvest. So check that out. And we're going to go through every single sign to talk about how these energies can work for you. So starting with Aries, the full moon in Capricorn will be hitting your 10th house. So it's all about your status, your position, your honors, how the world sees you. So this is going to be a time for you to recognize your career milestones, reevaluate your public goals and ambitions. Are you on the right track? Do you still care about what you had cared about before? And I say that because an object in motion likes to stay in motion. So you just got to be aware that you're going after those goals that are still relevant. And if you have very, very clear goals as to what you want to achieve in your career, now is going to be a good time for you to actually look at it and say, okay, is this plausible? Do I have a good step-by-step approach? Now, the ruler of Capricorn, the ruler of this full moon, is Saturn. And Saturn is in your sign, Aries, which is really good. Saturn in the first house, it can create definition. In the 12th house, it's like you can't create anything because it's hidden from you, for instance. So Saturn in the first, it really is all about you defining a new self-image that is aligned with your end goal. In order for you to achieve what you want to achieve, you have to see yourself as a person who is capable of achieving it. So during this full moon, you're going to have an opportunity to redefine your identity, taking personal responsibility for your growth. If you want to achieve a certain thing in your career, well, what does that look like? And how do you have to show up? Because Saturn wants definition in terms of how you are showing up, how you're presenting yourself, and really how you self-identify. If you have something that you want to achieve, you have to self-identify as somebody who can achieve it, or even better, you could play with your mind and pretend that you already had achieved it, because then you're going to trick yourself into believing it's easy. Now, Uranus as well as Venus are in your third house. And that means that you're going to have a lot of new insights. You're going to probably have a lot of invitations. People might be asking you to go different places. There's going to be a lot of information flowing your way around this time of this full moon. So you're going to be getting an opportunity to socialize more. You might go on a short distance trip. You might connect with your siblings and see some kind of opening there, or your cousins. The third house encompasses a lot, but you're going to be probably very, very busy, and there's going to be new communication opportunities around you. This could be a new writing project. This could be more socializing, more new people that are around you. Maybe you're going to be socializing in a different sphere. Maybe you're going to be part of a club, you're going to take a class, but there's going to be a lot of cool opportunities for you around learning. The biggest advice I can give you for this full moon is to assess your professional path and realign your goals with your excitement. What are you most excited about? You should follow your excitement like a breadcrumb trail, because that's your built-in mechanism that says, this is for you. This is where you should go. And the card we pulled for you is Nine of Pentacles. This is about love of work made visible. If you love your work, that love is going to transform, is going to essentially lead to a beautiful job well done. And you're going to have plenty. This card, Nine of Pentacles, is Venus in Virgo. So it's about loving your work. And most important, it's about the fruits of your labor that you derive because you love your work. So labors of love is going to be important for you. And really, the Nine of Pentacles is about hitting the mark. It's a really, really good card. It's about enjoying the finer things in life. And think about your longevity. If you're looking at your career and you're approaching it like this lady, like you're approaching it as if you're, walking through the gardens of your estate and you're taking pleasure in what you do, then the results are going to take care of itself. And you're also just you're not going to be tuckered out. You're going to just be enjoying the finer things in life. So this is a beautiful card for you. I would say, take a little bit of time off if you can and really think about what you would do if you could not fail and what you could do that you're going to derive the most pleasure from, because this card would suggest that you're going to be able to achieve it. So for Taurus, this full moon in Aries is hitting your 9th house. So acknowledge the progress that you've made in terms of expansion and growth. Maybe you're wrapping up a publishing or a broadcast project. Maybe you're graduating, right? Maybe you have expanded your mind in some capacity. And really what this full moon might do is remove any blocks that you may have toward expansion. Maybe you were trepidatious about going back to school or publishing a project or going on a trip, a foreign trip. And with the full moon in the 9th house, you're going to be able to release any fears around that. Now, Saturn in Aries is in your 12th house, which is a little bit tricky because Saturn wants definition and the 12th house is very nebulous. So when you have Saturn in the 12th house, you got to really look at what you believe on a subconscious level about yourself and about your world, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get what you subconsciously believe, right? So with Saturn in your 12th, you have to take responsibility for your hidden beliefs, for your assumptions. And you want to allow yourself to make sure that you're getting out of old stories, ripping up old scripts that are no longer relevant for you. If you feel like you're always in a situation that is unpleasant, well, you got to change it because you're the common denominator, right? If you think that, there's not a lot of jobs that are out there, well, that's going to be a problem because then you're going to not find them. If you think there are only idiots out there and that you can't find somebody good to date, well, that's going to be a problem because then you're only going to find idiots, right? So you got to make sure that you're taking responsibility for your beliefs because your beliefs create your life. Meanwhile, there's going to be some nice financial opportunities around you. You got Venus and Uranus highlighting new ways to approach financial growth and resources. So I would say this is a great opportunity for you to either get into a new job. Of course, you make your biggest pay jumps when you switch jobs and you get out of your org. Or this could be a new money-making venture. And also really, not just a side hustle, but the full moon in the 9th house has to do with entrepreneurship. So I would say if you're looking to make more money, this is definitely the full moon to really allow yourself to look at the big picture and determine what you might need to adjust in order to attract those opportunities. The advice is to reflect on your spiritual or educational journey, and really see, what is next for you. What leap of faith do you need to take that's going to make you feel free? The card we chose for you is Ace of Swords. We pulled this for you. And that really is about a new idea, a new way of thinking. And there's a freshness to the Ace of Swords. So you're probably going to be thinking in brand new ways. The Ace of Swords can be a new venture, a new idea. This could be, oh, I'm going to go to school. Oh, I'm going to start a business. Oh, I'm going to write a book, right? And it also provides the solution to a problem. So you just got to have a little bit of cold, hard logic with the Ace of Swords, and you're going to find a solution to anything that might be challenging. But the big advice with the Ace of Swords is start something new. So Gemini, you're very aspected this full moon with Uranus as well as Venus in your sign. That should be giving you a nice little lift. The full moon, however, it's going to test you because you have it in the 8th house. And the 8th house is all about death and rebirth and setting boundaries or dissolving boundaries. It's pretty intense. So it's a very deeply psychological transit for you, in which you're probably going to be more easily triggered. You might be feeling more raw. And that is going to help you to determine where you're at psychologically, like how your inner workings are. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have inner peace, right? And that you have peace of mind. So release any emotional baggage. Anything that's heavy is not yours. Embrace transformation and shared resources. So you're going to probably be determining where you begin and where the other person ends in your life. You're going to probably be determining what's yours and what's his, or what do you both share? Because the 8th house does have to do with joint resources, joint enterprises, and it's all about boundaries. So you got to determine your boundaries this lunation. This feels good. I'm going to lean in closer and dissolve a boundary. Or this feels bad. I need to erect a boundary and say no. And that's the rule of thumb. Because with the 8th house, it's all about boundaries. Those you dissolve and those you put up. And just trust yourself. If something's making you feel bad, well, for heaven's sake, put up a boundary. Now you get Saturn in Aries in your 11th. So Saturn is asking you to take responsibility and to work hard in terms of your long-term goals. And it's also telling you that you have to put into the work when it comes to your friends, your community, your network. You're looking to branch out. Your network could be very important for you. So you gotta make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to nurture your friendships and to nurture your long-term goals. With Uranus as well as Venus in your sign, there's so many opportunities. I mean, you can do whatever you want with all these energies in your sign. So you got personal reinvention. You can create a fresh perspective. There's lots of new beginnings on the horizon for you. And I would say the fact that you got so much energy in your 1st house, and this is a full moon in the 8th house transit for you, this is a really great opportunity for you to really create a brand new identity. With the 8th house lunation, you're saying no, you're letting go of an old identity. And then with all those opportunities in the 1st house, you get to create this new identity. Because we're making ourselves up as we go along, right? So this could be a very transformative lunation for you. I would say that with the 8th house, something needs to go, most likely. Something needs to leave your life. Because how else are you going to make these opportunities come about for you? How are you going to lean into these new ideas and these new roles? You got to let go of something, right? So let go of any lingering attachments. This is a time to transform and renew. Now, the card we pulled for you is 7 of Cups. Now, this is about choices. You're going to have a lot of opportunities that are around you. And the 7 of Cups says that the wind may still be in your face. Meaning, if you're not sure about it, well, then don't do it. I would say if it's not a hell yeah, don't do it, because you're going to have your pick of the litter and you don't want to settle. This is not a moon cycle for you to settle because, like I said, you got so many beautiful things that are going on in your chart this lunation. So wait for a better offer. And in the meantime, really allow yourself to dream. The 7 of Cups is really very imaginative. If you can dream it, it could be really, really great. So I would look at all your options and get very creative and start brainstorming. So Cancer, this full moon will be hitting your 7th house, of course, because Capricorn is your opposite sign. And the full moon in the 7th, it's going to be an opportunity for you to evaluate your relationships, especially those requiring closure or resolution. So what needs to be adjusted in your closest one-on-one partnerships? Now, the 7th house has to do with your personal partnerships, like your spouse or your best friend, long-term one-on-one relationships. It also can pertain to professional relationships, the consultants that you have, your clients, if you have clients, right? Your audience, if you are a public figure of some sort. So you want to evaluate those relationships and see how they're going. If you're in a committed relationship, how might you make adjustments so you're even more pleased? Now, Saturn is in your 10th house. So career is probably going to be taking center stage in your life. Like that's where you're having to work right now really hard. So you're being encouraged to take leadership roles and really to take responsibility for your public image. If you are looking to achieve notoriety in some area, or you want to be known for something, you got to be very responsible and you've got to guard your reputation with Saturn in the 10th. Don't take for granted that people are going to perceive you the way that you want to be perceived. You've got to take responsibility for that. That might be in terms of how you present yourself, branding, things you don't say, things that you leave out, how you email people, how you communicate, how you dress, stuff like that. Now, what's really cool is you have opportunities in your 12th house with Uranus as well as Venus there, making that beautiful sextile to Saturn and Aries. So you don't know what you don't know. And with the opportunities in the 12th house, it's a matter of you're going to gain a lot more insight, believe it or not, perhaps even by sleeping. Through your dreams, you might learn some new things. You might learn things by doing like a free write or automatic writing. You might get glimpses of what could be via meditation or your psychic abilities. And also you might realize, oh, geez, I do this all the time. This is a paradigm. I'm always disappointed in people because I feel like I was a disappointment, right? So you want to really look and see how you work, like why you attract the things that you attract. And if you can actually nail it and say, oh, geez, I do this because of that, you're going to be in much better position because then you're not operating from old self-constructs or subconscious beliefs that don't serve you. The advice, use this full moon to evaluate your closest partnerships and get clarity or close it up. I mean, you're going through a full moon in the 7th house. There might be a relationship that is no longer working for you, in which case, send them on their way. Send them love, wish them well, and get away from the person. Or maybe it's gentler and you're just going to make an adjustment. In any case, the card we pulled for you is 6 of Swords, which is about transition. If you notice, there's rocky water over here, right? But there's smooth sailing ahead of this ferryman. And this ferryman is taking his wife and his child on a journey away from these rocky waters. Metaphorically, it's a matter of you are moving away from challenging times with your body, mind, and soul. So you want to visualize that. You want to know that you're moving away from danger. You're moving away from issues. And really, in light of your 7th house transit, you might be transitioning from one relationship to another. But there's definitely movement around you. So definitely keep things moving. You got Jupiter in your sign, Cancer, so it's going to be very, very hard for you to fail if you make changes. I would just absolutely go for it. This year is going to be really good for you. And happy full moon. So Leo, you got a 6th house transit going on here. So you're cleaning up metaphorically as well as literally. The 6th house has to do with your health. It has to do with your work, your day-to-day regimes, your habits. So complete a health or work project. Maybe you are working on something really hard and this project is in its final stages. Well, wrap it up and also determine what you do day in and day out and how that little by little is helping you to get closer to your goals. Because at the end of the day, what we achieve in a year is based upon what we do every single one of those 365 days. So think about your routines and your habits. Are they leading you to where you need to go? And also think about your lifestyle. Are you happy at your job? You can leave and get a new job, or what I would suggest, find a way to make your current job fun. Find a way to make your fitness regime fun. I mean, it's a fool's errand to start exercising and doing something that you don't enjoy. It's not sustainable. And although you may be tough and you could stick in a job that you don't like, I mean, it's going to be much easier if you release resistance and you play in the current job that you're in and then try to find another job. You never want to look for a job while you're really, really miserable at your current job. Sometimes that can't be helped, but essentially think of it this way. Your prospective new employers want to take you away from your other job. That's why it's always easier to get a job when you have one, because I think that your prospects are going to want to take you away. There's a weird thing that goes on. They like taking you away from your other position. I think especially if you're happy, right? So make sure that you get happy and then you make your moves. Get as happy as possible in your current job and then look for another one. Or make adjustments, right? Make adjustments to your job, but get happy where you're at now. Now, Saturn is in the 9th house, your 9th house. So you may decide, oh, geez, if I want to go to that next level professionally, I have to get more education. I have to go back to school. Or you may be like, I really am into my own thing and I want to be an entrepreneur. That's another 9th house thing. And Leos, there's many, many, many entrepreneurs that are under the sign of Leo, because Leo typically doesn't like being told what to do at all. And they like to be boss. So maybe that's what you need to do. You need to either get into a position in which you have more autonomy and more control and leadership, or maybe you create a position for yourself. Now, you get a lot of opportunities when it comes to your networks. So your friends and the people that you know could really help you get to that next level. So if you're looking for a new job, if you want to leave the current job you're in, talk to your friends. Tap into the energy of Mercury retrograde, which will be coming up. Retrograde Mercury is really good for connecting with people from the past. So if you're looking for a new job, I would definitely tap your previous connections. And if you have a hope or a dream or a goal, it might actually be closer than you realize. The 11th house has to do with big wins. And the 11th house also has to do with big lump sums of money that you get in one fell swoop. It's not that paycheck that you get on a regular basis, which would be second house. The 11th house is, you're getting a big amount of money for a painting that you did, or, some service that you provide in bulk, right? So definitely look for those shiny apples on the tree, because the 11th house brings a lot of blessings. So reflect on how your daily habits are aligned with your larger goals and make adjustments. So again, this is about your habits, your routines, what you do day in and day out. Is that aligned with your end goal? Think of it, if you want to look amazing in a bikini, let's say, are you doing something every single day to that end? If you want to raise a certain amount of money, are you making sure that you are saving every single day, right? Those things that we do day in and day out are very important when you're going through a 6th house transit. Now, the 9 of Wands is what we pulled for you. Now, this is unnecessary defensiveness. Positively, it could mean that you're about ready to end a cycle. You're really, really close to the finish line. But also, and this especially in light of your 11th house transit, it could be unnecessary defensiveness. If you notice, the rods or wands behind him are erect and they're standing still. They're not doing anything. They're perfectly aligned. He has nothing to be concerned about. But yet he's very, very defensive. So if you are going to be pursuing opportunities with new people, new places, new things, a la your 11th house, then you want to make sure that you're not being overly defensive. Be open. Be open to other people and new situations and new opportunities, right? Don't be so defensive that you remain closed to what the universe could be offering you. So Virgo, this is a nice fiery transit for you. You have a lot of fun going on here. The full moon in the 5th house. It's time to acknowledge your creative successes or bring closure to romantic endeavors. So you may be finishing up a creative project. You may be, it could pop, you maybe you're meeting someone and you're like, oh, geez, this is true love. 5th house does have to do with true love. It's not necessarily about partnerships, though. Your partnership house is the 7th. So you have the 5th house, you fall in love, you get along with the person really well, you have good times, great sex. But that 6th house, do your habits, do your lifestyles align? And then if they do, then you become a partner with them, a long-term relationship in the 7th house. But the 5th house is about romance and pleasure and joy, right? So you want to see what brings you joy. And if something is robbing you of your joy, this is the full moon to get rid of it. And that is probably what is most likely happening, Virgo. There's probably something in your life and you know that it's robbing you of your joy. Now, going back to what Alan Watts suggests, say you're in a job and it's making you miserable. Okay, well, your job can't make you miserable. You believe you have to be miserable because you're in this job. So you want to do whatever it is that you can to make it more fun. Obviously, look for a new job, but you're going to make your life way easier if you get satisfied with where you are in your current job. And just do whatever it is that you can to make your life more pleasurable and more fun. And if something is, robbing you of your joy, for the love of God, get rid of it this transit. Now you get Saturn and Aries in the 8th house. Now this echoes that whole idea of you wrapping things up that are no longer working for you, because Saturn tests you, and the 8th house is all about boundaries and letting go. So you're probably going to be, with Saturn in your 8th house, being tested when it comes to dying or letting something end. You also may be transforming your approach to intimacy. You might have to really work hard in that realm. Or you need to be very disciplined when it comes to your resources and other resources, where you begin, with the other person ends, etc. Now, you got a lot of career opportunities here with Uranus as well as Venus in your 10th house. So I would expect a boost professionally, definitely. Also, this could be a marriage thing too, because the 10th house may have to do with like your husband, right? So there's some kind of good thing going on with your place in the world. Your status may change, and there will be opportunities for you to change your status. So use this full moon to complete any creative projects or romances that need closure. And maybe it's also a matter you're wanting to get into a romance and you need to remove blocks. Maybe you need to release any old beliefs. Now, the card that we chose for you, that we pulled for you, is 10 of Wands. So this guy is working a little bit too hard, right? He is stuck carrying all of these wands, and he's going to break his back. And I think that the big thing for you, Virgo, is what are you doing that feels like this? What are you doing that makes you feel as if you are being oppressed? Release the load, right? Because this is a 5th house transit. 10 of Wands is not fun. I mean, I think for you, Virgo, you are really good at creating order out of chaos, and you can be a martyr at times, but no, it's not yours. I think with the 10 of Wands, there might be something that is absolutely more trouble than it is worth. Sometimes people get into relationships, especially if they don't have much experience in relationships, and they're not wise enough to realize, oh, well, I could be with somebody that's better, the sex could be better, we could be having more fun, because they don't have anything to compare it to. So whether it is a job or a relationship or whatever, if it's feeling really cumbersome and it's really putting you out and making you exhausted, trust me, this is not the best thing for you. So release your load and have fun, for God's sakes, because that's what this transit is about. Release anything that's making you feel like this guy here, because you want to tap into that inner child energy with that 5th house. Hey, Freed, nice to see you. So for Libra, this transit is hitting your 4th house. So it's a big deal. It's an angular transit. So full moon in the 4th house, you're probably completing something in your home or your family. And that's going to bring you more emotional clarity. Maybe you're patching things up with a family member, or maybe you're renovating, or maybe you're getting a new home or making your home more comfortable. Maybe you're releasing something that's undermining your sense of emotional security. You ever have those people and they give you these little digs and they're designed to make you feel insecure? Maybe they're not doing it intentionally. Maybe it was done to them and it's the trickle effect. Now they're doing it to you. Well, this is your full moon to say, I'm going to get rid of anything that undermines my inner peace and my emotional security. I'm going to relate to it differently. So you're going to be probably doing that on the home front. Maybe you're going to be making sure that you have better boundaries between your work life and your profession, your home life. You know, for people who work at home, for instance, it's really, really tough. People who work from home, they have a tendency to either work too much or not enough, right? And for you, it might be the former, or the latter, rather, working too much. So there's clarity in terms of what is going to make you feel more at peace, and clarity as to what needs to go bye-bye. You get Saturn in the 7th, so you're going to have to work harder in regard to your relationships. Make them more playful, make them more fun. There's a lot of opportunities there. Your negotiation skills are going to be tested as well. So make sure that you are putting in the extra effort that you need to in terms of your partnerships, and make sure that, of course, they're increasing and fortifying your emotional security and stability, or make changes so that they do. Now you get opportunities in the 9th house. There could be a nice trip to foreign shores that you get to go on. You might have an opportunity to start a new business. And the advice is to reflect on your home life, make any necessary changes to create peace. You got the Death card. Something needs to go. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a death. It's usually, if anything, it's a birth. The Death card very rarely is a physical death, but it is about a rebirth. And it does suggest that something needs to leave your life that is undermining your emotional security. So suss that out and do what you can to be free of it. So Scorpio, you got the full moon in the 3rd house. There's going to be probably a communication project that's reaching completion. Maybe you're finishing a project at work. Maybe you're going to be wrapping up a trip, right? And there's releases, right? So you might actually have a refreshing conversation with a sibling. You're going to be needing clarity in 3rd house affairs. And the 3rd house has to do with your writing, your communications, your neighbors, your cousins, your siblings, stuff like that. So you're releasing any energy around communication, and probably going to be having some communications or some conversations that need to be had, right? You're probably going to have to bite the bullet and say how you feel about certain things. And that's going to be good because you don't want to have anything weighing heavily on you. Saturn is in your 6th house. So you're having to pay a little bit more attention to your regimes, your health, your work. It is going to be a time where you may have to buckle down harder on the work front. And it might take some challenge, it takes some extra elbow grease to get in your workouts, to make sure that you're eating properly. But Saturn will reward you if you do that. Now, you have opportunities this full moon in your 8th house, combining resources with other people, deepening your personal connections. All of those things are going to bring you new opportunities. And also, I would say, with this beautiful sextile in the 8th house, if you let go of something and you create a boundary, you're probably going to get rewarded. So bear that in mind. Big advice: address any communication issues and embrace more clarity and curiosity in your life. So clear things up and explore. Right? What do you need to not go to anymore? Right? With that full moon in the 3rd, you might I don't want to be part of this group anymore. These people are not my people. And then, what you can then do is explore who might be your people. The card we chose for you is Queen of Wands. So be assertive and know thyself. Queen of Wands understands her, and she's established strength. So you've come this far. Don't be afraid to assert yourself. Don't be afraid to nurture that spark of inner confidence within you. The Queen of Wands is confident, but it's more a matter of she feels that way internally, right? So you want to nurture your confidence, realize that you have established strength in the different areas of your life, and that it's okay for you to assert yourself. Oh, you did just get back from a trip. Oh, how perfect. And work has been intense for 2 Scorpios. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, just double down. Double down. And Sagittarius, so this full moon will be in your 2nd house. So there might be some money that comes to you, actually. This could be really good for you in terms of finances. It's going to be important for you to reevaluate your values, your possessions. What do you need to get rid of? I would say the full moon in the 2nd house, since the 2nd house has to do with your possessions, there might be some things that you no longer need, right? Great time for you to clear out your space and reevaluate, really, because that's sort of a metaphor. Like when we get rid of things that we no longer need, it can trickle into, oh, I don't also need to spend time with this person anymore, or I don't need to really do this anymore. The full moon is really all about hacking away at the unessential. Maybe there are some expenses that you're incurring every single month that are stupid, that doesn't make any sense, right? So it's a matter of clearing things out. I would say, also, this could be an opportunity for you to wrap up a very lucrative project or even find one. So Saturn you have in the 5th house. So you have to take your fun seriously, right? You might need to be extra disciplined when it comes to a creative project. Because even if you love what you're working on, there are going to be some times in which it is arduous, that you actually have to really, really work hard, and it might not be easy. But with Saturn in the 5th, if you put in the work and you work hard, you will be rewarded. Same thing in terms of romance. It might feel like, oh, geez, why can I not find the right person? Or I'm having trouble having fun with my partner, whatever it might be, right? So you put in the work, try not to get discouraged. Again, you're being tested. And if you can rise to the occasion and keep a positive, optimistic mindset, you're going to be good. Now, you've got a lot of opportunities, actually, in your 7th house with partnerships. Remember, you got Venus as well as Uranus and Gemini, your opposite sign. So you can find a new relationship or even renew your partnerships. And that's going to give you more opportunities for growth and success. So this is a great opportunity for you to find somebody new or to refresh the partnerships that you're already in. As for advice, reflect on your relationship with money and determine, what do you need to feel comfortable and secure? Do you have any financial blocks? Are you friends with money? Do you feel that you love money and money loves you? And that there's plenty of money. Typically, if you're a Sagittarius, you probably don't even think about money and it just floats into your life like green pieces of paper. The Sagittarians are very, very lucky. In any case, you still can improve your relationship with money and get richer across all realms. The card that was pulled for you is 2 of Pentacles, which is about ups and downs and fluctuations, but it is about harmonious change. And it also could be about spending some to make some. Maybe you need to spend some money in order to get some more money. Or maybe you're going to be taking on another job in order to supplement your very generous disposition. But the 2 of Pentacles is also about having fun and whistling while you work. So make sure you're doing that as well. So Capricorn, this is your full moon. Happy full moon in your sign. It's in your 1st house, of course, this full moon. So it's a powerful moment of personal culmination. Reflect on how far you've come, not only in life, but specifically this year. Reflect back to what you have achieved. I think Capricorns are such manifestors. They're so busy achieving things. They don't give themselves that pause to be like, hey, I did a really good job here. So give yourself a pat in the back. Now you're being tested emotionally. Your family life is probably testing you. Your personal life is probably a little bit trying at this point with Saturn in your 4th. So you are probably going to be needing to rebuild or redefine your sense of emotional security. determine, like, what do you actually need at this stage in your life in order to feel emotionally secure? You got to take responsibility in your home, which is certainly something that you're used to being a Capricorn. So be responsible and make sure that you're being responsible, most important, for making yourself feel at home. That is going to be key, because if you can feel at home within the self, you're going to then have more energy to be responsible, not just at home, but also in your public life. There's lots of work opportunities, so you're not going to be bored, that's for sure. And I also would say this could be a really good opportunity for a new job. It could be a good opportunity for a new regime. Maybe you'll find a workout buddy or a great personal trainer. Maybe you'll find a new job. The advice is to take stock of your personal growth. Celebrate your accomplishments. And the card that we chose for you is the Devil, which is your card in the tarot, but it is not as dark as it might seem. The Devil is about manifestation. You're manifesting. And we are all a combination of light and dark. You can't have order without chaos. You can't have light without dark. It just doesn't work that way. But what you want to do, especially as a Capricorn, is call upon the darker aspects of your personality to get her done, to get things done. There's an expression that God comes to earth and creates a religion, and the devil comes right afterwards and organizes it. So get your life in order. Determine what you need to do in order to manifest what it is that you want. And also, with the Devil card, learn to laugh at yourself. Laugh at what bedevils you. If you can do that, you're going to have a much easier time. So laugh if you can, and notice what you might have hangups about. What are you being a slave to? I mean, in some instances, you got to be obsessed, right? Honestly, if you're obsessed, if we're going after the same thing and you're obsessed and I'm not obsessed, you got a leg up, because nothing really beats obsession. But when you're obsessed with something and it's robbing you of your power, then you got to reel it in. So determine how you can use obsession, not let obsession use you. Oh, thank you, Casmar, very much for your super chat. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad you're getting it done. It's time to get it done. So enjoy your full moon in your sign, Capricorn. And Aquarius. So for you, Aquarius, you're probably going to be hiding under the covers. You got a full moon in the 12th house, and that is about you wanting your privacy. So Aquarians typically go through two extremes. They either want to be with people all the time and all their friends all around them, being that social butterfly floating around, or they want to be alone. So they go through those extremes. This is probably going to be the extreme for you, Aquarius, in which you want to be alone. You need your privacy because you're going through a very intense psychological period with the full moon in the 12th house. Your subconscious beliefs are surfacing. So this is a great opportunity for you to release old habits, any fears, or any mental problems. Oh, I always seem to get myself in this situation, or this always happens to me at this job. Okay, well, you're the common denominator here. So what about you do you need to change specifically about what you believe? Because your beliefs are what you get in life, right? What you subconsciously believe. It's a great time for spiritual clarity, getting extra sleep, meditating, woo-woo stuff. You get Saturn in the third, so you got to watch out for your communications. It's a matter of you got to not say yes to every invite that you get, or to drop everything when somebody needs something. So there's going to be a lot of information coming your way with Uranus and Venus both in Gemini. So you got to be disciplined. You got to work hard. You got to make sure that you're being very careful in the way that you communicate, because you're being tested in that realm. Be mindful of your mindset and the things that you say to yourself, because that is very, very, very important, especially with the full moon in the 12th. And make sure that you're being clear. Don't procrastinate. If you need to have conversations with people, rip the Band-Aid off. And I would do it sooner rather than later, because we do have Mercury retrograde coming up. You're going to have opportunities that are really cool, because you got Gemini in your 5th house, along with Uranus and Venus. So there's going to be opportunities for romance, for fun, creative projects. Follow your heart and do what you love. Have fun, even if it is not necessarily practical. You could be going to the arcade. You could be going to Epcot. You could be going to the movies, but you want to make sure that you're having fun because there is opportunity there. And I would say if you're looking to date, this is a good time for you, actually. And if you're looking to also spice up your current relationship, this is really good. Also a great time for creative projects. But the big advice is to take time for introspection and clear out any mental blocks that may be preventing your growth. The card we chose for you is Six of Pentacles, which is about payoff. You've been working hard. If you've been working hard, which you typically do, Aquarians work very hard, you're going to see some rewards from your efforts. The Six of Pentacles is also about balance. So this full moon for you, if you've been a social butterfly, you might be spending more time alone. If you've been working hard towards something, you're going to see great results from that. There's some kind of balance. And you're going to be in good stead. Six of Pentacles is nice. It also is all about balancing things. You might be paying back debts or favors, right? Balancing things so everything is hunky-dory. And Pisces. So Pisces, you got this full moon in the 11th house. So it's all about perhaps a big hope, dream, wish, or ideal. Maybe freedom is coming for you. Because the 11th house is a really good card. It has to do with your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, your ideals. It has to do with your friends, your community, your network. And the full moon in the 11th house, it's going to be an opportunity for you to see these things blossom and bloom, right? It also is going to be shining a light on these things. So you want to evaluate your social circle, your friends. Are there some people that you're still friends with and you're not really connecting much anymore? That could be a tough thing with the 11th house, or maybe even your groups. Maybe your tribe doesn't really match your vibe any longer. Also, it could be a big hope, dream, wish, or an ideal. You might be completing something that is awesome, or you might get a light shown on, oh, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. This would be amazing. You definitely want to think big and go for those shiny apples on the tree. Now, Saturn is in Aries in the 2nd house for you, this lunation. So you might need to take a more measured approach with your finances. That means that you might have to watch where things are going. It also might mean, really, with the 11th house full moon, which rules big lump sums of money, that you've got to be responsible with your wealth. Wealth is a responsibility. So you got to make sure that you're being responsible, right? If you are wealthy or running into a lot of money, well, that means that you're probably, the onus is going to be on you most likely to take care of some people in your family, perhaps. And otherwise, it's just a matter of being responsible financially and also being responsible with your values. If you value something, are you making sure that is fulfilled? There are opportunities for you on the home front around emotional security. Maybe you could have an opportunity to buy a new home or refurnish your home or something in terms of your actual dwelling. But it also is an opportunity for you to achieve a deeper level of emotional security and self-trust. Maybe there's going to be some quietude around you over the upcoming weeks, and you're going to have an opportunity to really zone in on yourself and your feelings and making yourself feel more at home within the self. Maybe you'll find something that makes you feel more emotionally secure. The advice: reflect on your friendships, your social connections. Make sure that they're aligning with your values. Make adjustments if you need to. And the card chosen for you is the Three of Pentacles. This is about giving things the works. Maybe you're going to be giving things the works in terms of a hope, dream, or ideal. Maybe you're going to be giving things the works when it comes to your social group. Maybe you're going to be taking leadership position in your social group. It also can be about really making sure that whatever it is that you're going after, your body, your mind, and your soul are all in unison. Sometimes we are splintered. Is that the right word? We are sometimes divided in terms of, well, I want this, but I don't. I kind of want to go on this date, but I kind of want to stay home. That's a problem because you're splitting your energy. So think about what it is that you want to achieve and make sure that your body is there, meaning you're feeling your body moving in that direction, your mind is there, and that your spirit is there. That can be another definition of Three of Pentacles. The other thing is that with the Three of Pentacles, something has probably already been accomplished. You probably got something done, and you got to give yourself props, right, for having achieved that. And the work, well, the work will still continue, I'm sure. Well, we did it, folks. We went through every single sign for this full moon in Capricorn. I hope it's helpful. I hope everybody has a wonderful full moon. And thank you all for being here in the chat tonight. I appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow for This Week Astrology. Take good care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.